Hello everyone, today I'm working on this SD40-2 and I keep complaining about the price of trains, but this one I got it for an amount that I was happy with. So on the little sticker here it does say noisy. So how about we go put it on the track and find out how it's running. This thing is in real good shape cosmetically. Everything's perfect. The horn is there. All the handrails are there. It's got the Rapido couplers, but in those days, those engines that have a blue box, that's how they came. A lot of people would transfer them to micro trains, but the engine I'm gonna run it with is having the same Rapido couplers, so that's fine for today. So that's not good. And it does the same thing backward. So let's get to work on that. So guaranteed that noise is the little plastic bearings next to the worm gears. So I'm using the box method to take it out. These are little tabs you can pull under with your screwdriver, but the box method is also easy. I stuck a little bit with the front. That's okay, we can use both methods. Both methods work. So there's a little tab down here you can pull on, and that's it. And the shell is really clean, like it had never been run. So that's real good news. I really like these engines. These are not DCC compatible, although if you wanted to do it, I suppose you could. You'd have to grind down the frame somehow to make room for a decoder. I'm not saying it can't be done. As far as I'm concerned, I would just prefer to buy a DCC compatible engine. I've got some really nice Kato ones that are DCC compatible, and the DCC compatible ones have ditch lights. But these I like because they are really smooth runners. If you can get them for a decent price, they're real nice to have. So I'm just removing my screws, and I'm keeping the little plastic tab. I keep keeping these two plastic tabs in the frame. And the trucks, they have an arrow that points out which way the truck should go. So that makes it easy to keep track of. I'm just gonna spread out the frame just a little bit to release the trucks. There we go. And there we go. And then I can come in and release the tabs for the engine cradle, and that will reveal the second half of the frame. If your contact strips fall out, that's okay. That's not gonna be a problem. So yeah, everything looks ship shape in here. I am gonna put a little bit of lubrication. You could use grease. I've got grease handy. You know, let's say I put oil and the noise doesn't disappear. You can put a little bit of grease. It's recommended for the worm gear, but I like to use this because it's a lighter oil, and it does not prevent the wheels from turning. It's very low viscosity, but that should be enough for those little plastic bearings to get back on track. That should be good for that. So I'm applying it quite liberally because I do want them to get a lot. It might not even be necessary, it just makes me feel good. Let's test this on the bench just to make sure that it's good. So my test leads is just an old Bachmann power pack with 2 wires coming out of it, and I'll put it on the lowest possible setting, and then I can test my stuff with it, and then I can go the other direction. As you can see, it sounds pretty good now, but the real test is on the track. I am gonna clean the wheels before though. Now, they don't look like they need much cleaning. That's just me and my OCD. My thinking is, since I have everything apart now, may as well take care of that. Although, as you saw it running before, it did not have any problems picking up electricity. So there's probably no need to do that, but like I said, I just have to do it. Can't help myself. I'm getting nice positive comments for everybody. I checked how many subs I have now. I'm up to 750. So I'm really happy for that. Thank you for everyone. Usually I will wash all these components, but they already look so good. I'm not gonna wash anything, but I am gonna run my rag over my wheel and my flanges just to be sure. Oh, and let's re-gauge these. On the Kato engine, I find they are pretty good actually right off the bat, but since I have everything in my hand, it's a little bit narrow. I don't know if you can see. I'm going to try to get a better light on this. It's a little bit narrow. It doesn't want to sit on there. So instead of putting the slack on the gear side, I like putting the slack on the outside of it. And you don't need a lot of slack. But like I said, since I have everything in my hands now, now's the proper time to do it. And I like them to be just a little bit tight. Just a little bit tight, because the flanges are wider than a regular train. So that's good. It helps you, it helps the train to run loose, and it can go side to side a little bit, helps you turn. So you want to have some movement side to side, and the little bit bigger flanges allow you to do that. So all right, so this one is perfect. So I'm going to set it back there, and then I'm going to do the rest of the wheels. Now I have everything cleaned and re-gauged. I'm going to bring back the 2 little strips. They have little pins where they ride, and also make sure all the axles are in their little caps. And then I'll bring in the second one. You can test it with your finger just to make sure you're happy. And then you can bring in the side frames. So these will just snap in if you put them correctly. I put them, there's little slits for the gears, so I put them backwards. That's not good. I like making mistakes on camera so you could see I'm just human. I'm just human, but I do like to take my trains apart. So once you got it in, test it with your finger just to make sure you're happy. And I'm happy. I'm going to do the other side off camera. Now that everything's clean, I can put it all back together. On the subject of cleaning, I saw a funny video the other day, which I really appreciated. It's about using 3-in-1 oil in your engines. So I'm gonna put a link in the description for that. Just have to line up my engine cradle, and then everything will fall right into place. There's two little insulators here. Make sure you have that, because if you don't have them, there could be a short circuit, and that would be bad. And then put the contact strips back on. They go over and under it, just like the song. And then this is the time to line them up, actually. I'm going to put the fuel tank back on. The fuel tank, you see the fuel filler here. This is a little fuel filler. And that goes toward the front of the engine. Just making sure everything's lined up properly. And then check for my little arrow. And then I'll just spread out the frame just a tiny little bit. That gives me enough slack to just slip it in there. Do not force this. So many times I've had engines that I bought where these two little pins were broken, and these pins keep your trucks in the engine. If you break them, obviously it's not good, but you want to be careful with that. Because if you break them, your trucks keep falling off. The engine could stop working also. So you want to mind that. For sure, for sure. But this one is mint. Except for the noise, which I think we took care of that. We're going to find out in a minute. Because when this thing's assembled, we're going to go try it out on the track. It's kind of a shame these are not DCC compatible. It's not worth milling the frame and taking a chance to wreck the engine, I find. I am not throwing out my DC engine, so I'm going to run this DC. The other engine I'm going to run it with is an SD40-5. And it is a good runner. The shell was weathered by someone who's not a pro, so it doesn't look too hot, but it runs super nice. This one should have it all. We're gonna find out, like I said, in a second. This one should have it all. Should be a good runner and a good looker. So let's see what we got. Oh, that sounds real good. I'm going to give it just a little bit of speed. This is about the speed that I normally run them. Now that sounds real good. Now I can put the shell back on. You know, sometimes you buy stuff on eBay, they say I have no equipment to test it. Or, you know, I cannot take returns. you take a chance. But this one, actually, the guy said other than being noisy, it's in real good shape. So that was definitely a good purchase. And now it's time to run some trains. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. I certainly had fun making it for you. See you soon.